Hey guys, welcome to my channel Learning Made Easy Peasy. Everyone, this is my first teaching video. It's a competitive world, and because many of you are preparing for the competitive exams, I decided to start the classes related to competitives as well. You all know that the school textbooks make the base for any competitive exam, be it the Karnataka state government published textbooks or the NCRTs. And the main subject from which most of the questions are extracted for any competitive exam is social science. Yes, so here I am with a series of classes for you all. If you look at the textbook of social science, there are six main disciplines in it. That is history, civics, sociology, geography, economics, and business studies. So, first, we will have a series of classes only related to history. That is, full history of 7th standard part 1 textbook, then full history of 7th standard part 2 textbook, then full history of 8th standard, etc. Once we complete the history of all the textbooks, then we will move to the other disciplines like civics, sociology, geography, economics, and business studies. I hope you have got this. Now, if there is anyone who thinks that these basics are not at all important or they already know everything, then I request them to please move to the last segment of this video. There is a small quiz for you all. Solve that and then you will understand where you actually stand. All right? Also, guys, because it is history, no much explanation is required. You will understand the content the minute I read it. The only thing is you have to pay a lot of attention. Okay? So let's begin. The first lesson in this textbook is Vijayanagara Empire. Vijayanagara Empire ruled for 3 centuries. That means 300 years. It was founded in 1336 CE on the southern banks of Tungabhadra river by the sons of Sangama. They were Harihara, Bukkaraya, Kampanna, Marappa and Muddappa. Their capital was Hampi of Bellary district. What was the ancient name of Hampi? If you know it, then please comment below. Their national emblem was boar Varaha. Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva and Aravidu were the four dynasties that ruled Vijayanagara Empire. Let us see the first dynasty, that is Sangama dynasty. Harihara was the first king. Shravana inscription of 1368 CE explains that Bukka pacified the conflict between Jains and Vaishnavas and maintained religious harmony. This is very important. It was asked in one of the previous competitive exams and it can be asked in the next competitive exams as well. So please remember it. Shravana inscription of 1368 CE. What does it talk about? It explains that Bukka pacified conflict between Jains and Vaishnavas and maintained religious harmony. Next, Kampana's queen Ganga Devi wrote Madhura Vijayam in Kannada language. It talks about how Kampana expanded the empire by defeating the Sultan of Madurai. This work is also important. It was asked in the previous competitive exams several times. Madhura Vijayam is a work written by Ganga Devi. Who was Ganga Devi? Kampanna's queen. In which language it has been written? In Kannada language. So please remember this. Next, Prauda Devaraya or Devaraya II, the most famous, important, popular, and powerful ruler of Sangama dynasty. His famous commander Lakkanna Dandesha defeated the kings of Kerala and Sri Lanka. Telugu poet Srinatha, Sanskrit philosopher Dindima belonged to his kingdom. Persian ambassador Abdul Razzaq visited his empire. This is important. Who visited his empire? Abdul Razzaq. He was Persian ambassador. Titles like Gaja Bentegara, Chatussamudra Diswara and Arya Raya Vibhada. These are the titles that belonged to Praudha Devaraya or Devaraya II. These titles are very important. You need to remember these. His titles were Gaja Bentegara, Chatus Samudra Diswara, and Ariyaraya Vibhata. Then the second dynasty was Saluva dynasty. Commander Saluva Narasimha was the king. Third dynasty, Tuluva dynasty, Tuluva Narasanayaka was the king. The most important king of Tuluva dynasty was Krishna Devaraya. Who doesn't know Krishna Devaraya? In the whole Vijayanagara Empire, the most powerful, popular, famous, and important king was Krishna Devaraya. However, he comes under Tuluva dynasty. So let us understand certain things about Krishna Devaraya. Krishna Devaraya captured Katak, the capital of Gajapati Prataparudra, a Kalinga king, and married his daughter Jagan Mohini. He had the title Yavana Rajya Pratisthapanacharya. Why was he called by this name? If you know it, then comment below. Domingo Pius and Barboza visited the court of Krishna Devaraya. Domingo Pius and Barboza, they were both from Portugal. This is important, it is to be remembered. Domingo Pius and Barboza from Portugal visited the court of Krishna Devaraya. They visited Vijayanagara Empire during the rule of Krishna Devaraya. Achyutaraya and Sadashivaraya were the last rulers of Tuluva dynasty. After the death of Krishna Devaraya, Sadashivaraya took over the whole administration of Vijayanagara Empire. But because he was minor, the son-in-law of Krishna Devaraya, Ramaraya from Aravidu dynasty, took over the administration. Lastly, we have Aravidu dynasty. In Aravidu dynasty, the only person who is important is Ramaraya. Ramaraya was the son-in-law of Krishna Devaraya. There is an important battle which was fought by him. That battle is Rakkasa Tangadi battle or the battle of Talikote. This battle was fought on 23rd January 1565 CE. It was fought on the banks of Krishna river. It was fought between the united army of Deccan Sultans and the army of Vijayanagar, that is Ramaraya. In this battle, Ramaraya died, and as a result, Vijayanagar Empire declined. Here, one thing is to be remembered. In total, there were 5 Deccan Sultans, but one Deccan Sultan, that is Imad Shahis of Berar, they did not participate in this war. So this war of Talikote was fought between the united army of 4 Deccan Sultans and Ramaraya. After this battle, Vijayanagara Empire declined, and with the decline of Vijayanagara Empire, the small feudal chiefs of Mysuru, Keladi, Chitradurga, Yelahanka and Surapura, they became independent rulers in Karnataka. I hope that's clear. Now let us see a little bit of their administration. Decentralized administrative system. Arabian horses were the center of attraction. Economics. Vijayanagar was the international business center for diamonds. This is not shocking because Vijayanagar Empire was called as the richest empire in India. And that is how you can relate it. International business center for diamonds and the richness of Vijayanagar Empire. Isn't it? Okay. Golden coins were used, pics of gods and goddesses were engraved on these golden coins. Bhatkal, Honnavara and Mangaluru were the important ports of Vijayanagar Empire. This is very, very important. It has been asked several times in the previous competitive exams. The important ports of Vijayanagar Empire were Bhatkal, Honnavara and Mangaluru. This is to be remembered. Literature. Vidyaranya wrote Shankara Vijaya and Sarvadarshan Sangraha. Sayanacharya wrote Vedartha Prakasha and Ayurveda Sudhanidhi. These works were written in Sanskrit language. Sanskrit language. Prauda Devaraya or Devaraya II, who was also a great dramatist, wrote a great drama called Sudhanidhi. Krishna Devaraya wrote Jambavati Kalyana, Madalasa Charitam, and Rasamanjari. Kumara Vyasa wrote Gadugina Bharata. Ratnakar Varni wrote Bharatesh Vaibhava. These works were written in Kannada language. They were written in Kannada language. Next, Chamarasa wrote Prabhu Linga Lile. This was also written in Kannada language. Lakkanna's Shivatattva Chintamani and Bhima's Basava Purana. These two works are very important because these two works belong to Veera Shaiva literature. Veera Shaiva literature. This is to be remembered. Lakkanna's Shivatattva Chintamani and Bhima's Basava Purana. It is Veera Shaiva literature. Krishna Devaraya encouraged Telugu literature, hence he was called as Andhra Bhoja. He wrote Amukta Malyada in Telugu. This is very important. Sometimes in competitive exams, they only ask you about the language in which some work was written. So this is to be remembered that Amukta Malyada is a work that was written by Krishna Devaraya in Telugu language. He has also written many other works in Kannada language. Please do remember that also. There were 8 famous scholars called Ashtadiggajs in his kingdom. Then let us see their art and sculpture. Percy Brown, who was he? He was a very famous British historian and archaeologist. Said that the art and sculpture of Vijayanagara was the evolutionary form of Dravidian style. This is important. Many times this question has appeared in previous competitive exams. It was asked like the evolutionary form of Dravidian style is the art and sculpture of Vijayanagara Empire. Who said this? It was said by Percy Brown. Strong granite was used in the construction of temples of Vijayanagara Empire. Lepakshi temple was called as Shaiva's Ajanta. Again important, which temple was called as Shaiva's Ajanta? Lepakshi temple was called as Shaiva's Ajanta. Has the sketches of Shiva Purana of Vijayanagara. On the roof of Virupaksha temple's marriage hall, scenes of Dashavatara and Girija Kalyana were carved. Ganapati idol, Narasimha idol, and stone chariot in Hampi show the monolithic stone sculpture of Vijayanagara. So here we have already completed the first lesson. Moving on to the next. The second lesson is Bahmani Adil Shah's first Muslim dynasty, Bahmani Empire. To be very precise, you can say it was the first Muslim dynasty that ruled over the Deccan or the southern India. Alauddin Hassan Gangu Bahman Shah was the founder of this empire. He founded it on 3rd August 30. Their capitals were Kalaburgi and later Bidar. Tajuddin Firoz Shah, great Sultan of Bahmani dynasty, he established an observatory in Daulatabad, Maharashtra. What was the previous name of Daulatabad? If you know it, then please comment below. Built a new city called Firozabad on the banks of river Bhima. This is very important. It was asked in the previous competitive exams. Who built the city of Firozabad? It was built by Tajuddin Firoz Shah, who belonged to the Bahmani dynasty. It was built on the banks of river Bhima. Then we have Muhammad Gavan, very important person, a Persian who worked as a prime minister during the rule of Sultan Muhammad Shah III. He founded a madrasa, that is university in Bidar. 3,000 manuscripts were in the library of madrasa. On the tomb of Gavan it is written that innocent Gavan was killed. Now let us see about their education. Kalaburgi, Bidar, Ilichapur and Daulatabad were the Islamic educational centers. Kalaburgi and Bidar were their capitals, so you will already remember this. But Elijapur and Daulatabad is something to be remembered. Literature. Persian, Arabic, and Urdu literatures developed. Sufi saint Bande Nawaz belonged to this period. Dakhini language, that is Urdu language, developed. Dakhini language is still spoken in the southern parts of Karnataka. It's a beautiful language. I personally love it. Sculpture, Indo-Islamic style, Dakhini style. First contribution was Jamia Masjid of Kalaburgi. It was built by Muhammad Shah. The tomb of Bande Nawaz was also built in Kalaburgi. In Bidar, they built Sola Khamba Mosque, Bidar Fort, 12 tombs of Ashtur and Madrasa. The last king of Bahmani dynasty was Sultan Kalimullah Shah. You may be thinking why I have included all the names of the monuments that are mentioned in the textbook. That is because it is very important from the point of view of competitors. Yes, they ask this in the form of match the followings. Like on the one side, they will give you the names of the monuments, and on the other side, they will give you the names of the places or the dynasties or the person who built it. And many students do silly mistakes over here. That is because they will be not knowing it, or maybe they will not remember it at that point of time. So, the more you read about the monuments that are constructed by several dynasties or the people, the personalities, the better it is for you to crack any competitive exam. I hope you have got this. The next dynasty is Shah dynasty. Bahmani kingdom was broken into five states of Shahis, that is, the Adil Shahis of Bijapur, Vijaypura, Barid Shahis of Bidar, Qutub Shahis of Golconda, Nizam Shahis of Ahmednagar, and Imad Shahis of Berar. Imad Shahis of Berar did not participate in which war? We have just now done it in the Vijayanagar Empire. If you remember it, please comment below. Okay, let's see the first dynasty, that is the Adil Shahis of Bijapur. Yusuf Adil Shah was the founder. Ibrahim Adil Shah too, he is very important. Many questions appear on him in the competitive exams. The most famous and important ruler of Adil Shahis of Bijapur. He had the title Jagat Guru Badshah. Why was he given this title? It is because he treated all the religions equally. That is why he was called as Jagat Guru Badshah. He wrote a book called Kitab-e Navaras. In this book, he has praised many Hindu gods and goddesses like Ganapati, Saraswati, and others. With the help of this book, he tried to popularize music because Ibrahim Adil Shah too loved music. He built Ibrahim Roza, the only Roza in India. Then second dynasty was Barid Shahis. Qasim Barid was the founder. Ibrahim Adil Shah captures Bidar. Third dynasty, Qutub Shahis. Kuli Qutub Shah was the founder. Ibrahim made it a beautiful city. He changed the capital from Golconda to Hyderabad in 1589 CE. Golconda surrendered to the Mughals. The fourth dynasty was Nizam Shahis. Malik Ahmad, chief of Junnar, founded this dynasty. After the death of Chand Bibi, Ahmednagar declined. Chand Bibi is important. Later, Ahmednagar got merged into Mughals. Then the fifth dynasty and the last dynasty was Imad Shahis of Berar. Between Penganga and Vainganga rivers at Wardha, Tapti to the north of Bidar. Fatullah founded this dynasty. He had the title Imadul Mulk. Elijpur was his capital. This is important. Later, this dynasty went to Vijaypur Sultans. This dynasty went to Vijaypur Sultans. Now, one thing that is to be remembered over here is, except for the Adil Shahis of Bijapur, the other four dynasties which were there, they were not very strong. Like you can see over here, Barid Shahis of Bidar was captured by Ibrahim Adil Shah of Bijapur. Then Qutub Shahis of Golconda, they surrendered to the Mughals. Nizam Shahis of Ahmednagar, they also got merged into Mughals. Imad Shahis of Berar, they were captured by the Vijaypur Sultans in their later part. So two dynasties went to Vijaypur Sultans and two other dynasties got merged with the Mughals. Then let us study about their literature. Farishta, Persian poet, wrote Tariq-e-Farishta and Gulshan-e-Ibrahim. Abdul's Ibrahim Nama, it is in Urdu. Mullah Nasrati's Ali Nama. Narahari of Torave, important, wrote Torave Ramayana in Kannada language. Art and sculpture. Bijapur fort was built with 96 bastions and 6 main entrances. What are these bastions? Bastions are the projecting part of fortification. Like, for example, suppose this is a fort wall. There are certain structures that are built in the form of square or rectangle or in this form or triangle. So these kind of structures are called as bastions. Basically, they help the kingdoms to fight against the attacks. Then, Gagan Mahal was built by Ali Adil Shah I. Mehter Mahal was built by Ibrahim Adil Shah II. Asar Mahal is very famous for its paintings. Jama Masjid was built by Ali Adil Shah I. Then we have Ibrahim Roza in Bijapur, the only Roza in India, which was built by Ibrahim Adil Shah II. He built it in the memory of his wife Taj Begum. It is the only Roza in India and it is also called as the Taj Mahal of South India. This is important. Which monument is called as the Taj Mahal of South India? It is Ibrahim Roza of Bijapur. Then Gol Gumbaz, also in Bijapur, it was built by Muhammad Adil Shah. He built it in 1656 CE. It is the largest dome in India and the fourth largest dome in the world. It has a whispering gallery. Which are the other three largest domes in the world? The first largest dome in the world is the Pantheon in Rome. The second largest dome is the Dome of Florence Cathedral. And the third largest dome is the dome of the Singapore National Stadium. I hope that's clear. Other constructions: Bara Kaman, Bade Kaman, Ananda Mahal, Upli Buruj, Taj Baudi and Chand Baudi. So here we have completed the second lesson as well. See how easy it has been made, isn't it? Now let us see the third lesson. Third lesson is Bhakti cult and Sufi heritage. There are 5 people in the South India and 5 people in the North India which are to be remembered. In South India, we have Andal, Akka Mahadevi, Kanakadasa, Purandaradasa, and Shishunala Sharifa. In the North India, we have Kabir Das, Tulsidas, Guru Nanak, Mirabai, and Sri Chaitanya. Bhakti is the best way to attain moksha, and this is called as Bhakti cult. The word Bhakti is derived from the Sanskrit word Bhuj, which means knowledge. This is important. Bhakti word is derived from the Sanskrit word Bhuj, which means knowledge. First, let us see the people from South India. First is Andal. One among the 12 Alvars, Vishnu devotees of Tamil Nadu. What do you mean by Alvar? Alvar means a Vishnu devotee. Their contrary were called as Nayanars. Nayanars were the devotees of Lord Shiva. Her original name was Goda Devi. Her father was called as Vishnu Chitta. He was also called as Peri Alvar. That means even he was also an Alvar. She wrote Tirupavai. In Tamil Nadu, Tirupavai Vratha is very famous. The second one is Akka Mahadevi. Vachana movement of 12th century. Channa Mallikarjuna was her husband. Channa Mallikarjuna was also her pen name. Many scholars say that Channa Mallikarjuna means Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva. So it is said that she worshipped Lord Shiva in the name of Channa Mallikarjuna and she used to consider him as her husband. But she was forcibly married to the king Kaushika. Third personality, we have Purandaradasa. Purandaradasa is very important. Many questions appear on him in any competitive exam. So the more you read about him, the better it is for you. His original name was Srinivasa Nayaka. Vyasaraya, his guru, gave him Diksha and called him as Purandara. Again important. Who called him as Purandara? His guru Vyasaraya. He is known as Karnataka Sangeeta Pitamaha, father of Carnatic music. This was asked several times in competitive exams. His pen name was Purandara Vitthalla. Guru Vyasaraya said Purandara Dasa is ultimate as a dasa. Then the fourth personality is Kanakadasa. Thimmappa was his original name. He headed a group of 78 villages. He found a pot full of gold and was called as Kanakanayaka. He was a disciple of Vyasaraya too. His pen name Adi Keshava. Kanakana Kindi. What is Kanakana Kindi? It is a very famous story. In Udupi, there was a Krishna temple. A small Krishna temple was there in Udupi, and Kanakadasa was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. He wanted to enter the temple and worship to Lord Krishna. But in those days, low caste people and untouchables, they were prohibited from entering any temple. So even Kanakadasa was prohibited. So what he does is he goes to the west of the temple and starts worshipping Lord Krishna through a small window, which is called as Kindi in Kannada. Lord Krishna was pleased by his worship so much that the Lord himself turns his face towards Kanakadasa. This story is famous as Kanakana Kindi. His works Hari Bhakti Sara, Nala Charitre, Ramadhanya Charite, Shatpadi Epics, Mohana Tarangini, the Sangeeta Kavya. These are important. All his works are very important. It has been asked several times in several competitive exams. Please learn them. His works were Hari Bhakti Sara, Nala Charitre, Ramadhanya Charithe, Shatpadi Epics, and Mohana Tarangini, the Sangeeta Kavya. Lastly, we have Shishunala Sharifa, the first Kannada Muslim mystic poet. Kabira of Karnataka, again important. Who was called as Kabira of Karnataka? Shishunala Sharifa. He took Diksha from Govinda Bhatta and wrote many Tattva Padas. Kalagapada, Dharmika Niti Pada, Alavi Pada, Sabal Jawab Pada. These are all the padas that were written by Shishunala Sharifa. Coming to the North India, the first personality in the North India is Kabir Das. He was the disciple of Ramananda. Muslim weaver couple Niru and Nima of Varanasi were his parents. They had adopted him. Hindu Muslims are pots of same clay. This was said by Kabir Das. Dohas. Dohas means two-line poems. Kabir Das used to write two-line poems called as dohas, which were very famous. Even today, the dohas of Kabir Das are said, they are recited, and they are still famous, and they will continue to be famous. The followers of Kabir Das were called as Kabir Panthis. The second personality is Guru Nanak. He was the founder of Sikh religion. Songs called Japji were written by Guru Nanak and they were compiled in a book called Guru Granth Sahib. It is the sacred book of Sikhs. One can gain Guru through bhakti, and with bhakti, one can attain mukti. This was said by Guru Nanak. He stayed in Bidar, the place called Nanak Jira, sweet water spring. The third personality is Tulsi Das. He wrote Ramacharita Manasa, which is famous in the north as Tulsi Ramayana. This is important. The fourth one is Mirabai. Mirabai is very important. Many questions appear on her. She was called as Radha of Kaliyuga. This was asked several times in the competitive exams. Who was called as Radha of Kaliyuga? Mirabai was called as Radha of Kaliyuga. She was the daughter of Raja Ratan Singh and she was married to the Prince of Mewar. Mirabai was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. Even after her marriage, she used to feel like devoting all her time in the worship of Lord Krishna. So she left her palace, her married life, everything, and went to an ordinary place and lived with local people, worshipping Lord Krishna. She wrote bhajans and kirtans. All her bhajans and kirtans were dedicated to Lord Krishna. Then lastly we have Chaitanya. Original name was Vishwambara Guru Ishwar Puri. He said, universal love is the first step towards the God. Hare Krishna cult belongs to Sri Chaitanya. Bengalis call him Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with love. Then we have a little information related to Sufi saints. Sufi cult originated in Arabia. The word Sufi comes from the word Saf, which means clean, clear, pure. Khwaja Bande Nawaz, he was a famous Chishti Sufi saint, disciple of Nasiruddin of Delhi. Bande Nawaz means protector of those who came to his shelter. His original name was Gay Sudaraj. This is important. That means long haired. Chishti sect. Moinuddin Chishti is the founder of the Chishti sect. Salim Chishti from Fatehpur Sikri is an important saint of Chishti sect. Here we have completed the third lesson. Fourth lesson is Nayakas, Palegaras and Nada Prabhus. Well, a little introduction about this lesson. After the decline of Vijayanagara Empire, I already taught you that there were few small rulers and chieftains of Keladi, Surapura, Chitradurga, Yalahanka, Mysuru, etc., who became independent in Karnataka. Those independent small rulers were called as Nayakas and Palegaras. And the small kingdoms which they ruled were called as Palepattus. I hope that's clear. So, first we have the Nayakas of Keladi. Small kings under the control of Vijayanagara Empire were called Nayakas or Palegaras. And the places that they ruled were called as Palepattus. Keladi was founded in 1499 CE. In the Nayakas of Keladi, we first have Hiriya Venkatappa Nayaka. Keladi kingdom attained complete freedom under him. He defeated the Portuguese with the help of Queen Abbakka Devi. Queen Abbakka Devi is important. Please read about her. He also defeated the Adil Shahis and established Victory Pillar in Hanagal. This is important. Who established Victory Pillar in Hanagal? It was Hiriya Venkatappa Nayaka. The second Nayaka was Shivappa Nayaka. The most important, famous and popular of all the Nayakas of Keladi was Shivappa Nayaka. He had the title Padugada Lodeya. The revenue system started by him was called as Sistu. It was very famous as Shivappa Nayakana Shistu. In this Sistu, he fixes the land revenue on the basis of the fertility of the soil. 1/3 of the production of the land was fixed as the tax, and all these changes in the land revenue system led to the development of Malenadu. Queen Channammaji. No, she is not that Channamma of Kittur. Queen Channammaji of Keladi is different from the Queen Channammaji of Kittur. The Kittur Rani Channamma was a freedom fighter. She fought against the British. Whereas Queen Channammaji of Keladi, she fought against the Mughals. Yes. Queen Channammaji was daughter-in-law of Shivappa Nayaka. She gave protection to Chhatrapati Rajaram, the son of Shivaji. The Agoreshwara temple in Ikkeri is famous for sculpture. This is important, this can be asked. The second Nayakas were the Nayakas of Chitradurga. Mathi Timmanna Nayaka was the first king of this Palipattu. 13 chieftains ruled over this province for about 211 years. In the Nayakas of Chitradurga, we have Rajavir Madakari Nayaka, most popular and powerful ruler. Hyder Ali besieged the seven-ringed fort of Chitradurga. The secret passage was called as Obbavana Kindi. Now here there is something to be understood. The fort of Chitradurga was called as Invincible Fort. It was also called as Stone Fortress. Stone Fortress. In Kannada it was called as Kallina Kote. Then how was it possible for Hyder Ali to besiege this fort of Chitradurga? It was because someone had revealed him about the secret passages through which he could besiege the fort of Chitradurga. It is said that when the army entered the fort of Chitradurga, there was no one to defend them. Except for one lady, she was the watchman's wife. She killed the army men of Hyder Ali with the help of a wooden pestle called Onake. Hence, she became famous as Onake Obbava, and that secret passage, which is still present, is called as Obbavana Kindi. I hope you have understood. Chitradurga is an attractive hill fort consisting of 7 encircled forts. Bharamasagara and Bhima Samudra tanks are there in Chitradurga. Then third, we have Nayakas of Surapura. There were 12 Nayakas that ruled it. Surapura is in Yadagiri district. Gatti Pidda Nayaka was the founder, important. Pitambari Bahari Pidda Nayaka made Surapura as his capital after constructing it. This is also important. Who constructed Surapura and made it as his capital? It was Pitambari Bahari Pidda Nayaka. Then the most important ruler of this dynasty was Raja Nalwadi Venkatappa Nayaka. He wanted to unify the kings of South India to fight British, Arabs and Rohils in his army. British officer Thornhill, who was there in Surapura, understood the moves of Raja Nalwadi Venkatappa Nayaka. So he wrote a letter to Captain Campbell on 24th of December 1857 requesting him to curb the Nalwadi Venkatappa Nayaka. So Hyderabad Nizam Salar Jung handed over the Nayaka to British. Meadows Taylor, another Britisher, pleaded to the British to drop his death sentence, and his death sentence was dropped as well. But then when he was sleeping, he was shot dead by the Britishers. When Hyderabad merged with the Indian Union on 17 September 1948, Surapura also got merged with India. The fourth and the last rulers in this were the Nada Prabhus of Yelahanka. Ranabhairi Gowda was the founder, important. Kempe Gowda dynasty, this is very very important. Which dynasty was called as Kempe Gowda dynasty? Nada Prabhus of Yelahanka were also called as Kempe Gowda's dynasty. Why it was called as Kempe Gowda dynasty? Because most of the rulers that ruled this dynasty of Nada Prabhus of Yelahanka, their names started with Kempe Gowda or ended with Gowda. That is why it is called as Kempe Gowda dynasty. Their capitals were Yelahanka, Bengaluru and Magadhi. The last ruler in this dynasty was Hiriya Kempe Gowda. He founded Bengaluru city in 1537 CE. This is very very important. Who founded the Bengaluru city? Hiriya Kempe Gowda. When did he found it? In 1537 CE. His title was Praja Vatsala. Kempe Gowda II. He made Magadhi as his capital, marked the borders of Bengaluru and built 4 watchtowers which are still there. Presently these towers are as follows. The north tower is in Mekri Circle, the south tower is in Lalbagh, the east tower is in Halsur and the west tower is in Gavi Gangadeshwara. North is in Mekri Circle, south is in Lalbagh, east is in Halsur, and west is in Gavi Gangadeshwara. Please remember this is important. Kempegowda II had two sons, Kempegowda III and Hiriya Kempegowda II. Kempegowda III built Kempa Sagara tank and Hiriya Kempegowda II had a title Navakavita Gumba Pumbhavani. Here we have completed the fourth lesson. Let us learn about the fifth lesson. The fifth lesson was Vadiyars of Mysuru. Yaduraya was the first king of Mysuru Vadiyars. Important. Their capital was Srirangapatana and their emblem was Ganda Berunda. Again important. Whole thing of this Vadiyars of Mysuru is important. First is Chikkadevaraya Vadiyar. He opened Athara Kacheri, which means 18 departments. He introduced thrift in his administration. What do you mean by thrift? Thrift means the quality and the practice of being careful with money and not wasting things. That is what is thrift. He had the title Navakoti Narayana. Why was he given this title Navakoti Narayana? Is because he ensured that the affairs of the kingdom ran smoothly and the treasury of the kingdom is always full with money. That is why he was called as Navakoti Narayana. Then we have Hyder Ali, commander in Dalavai Nanjarajaya's army. Anglo-Mysore Wars. He has fought two Anglo-Mysore Wars. The first Anglo-Mysore War ended with the Treaty of Madras. In the second Anglo-Mysore War, Hyder Ali died because of certain illness. He established Lal Bagh Garden in Bengaluru. This is important. Who established Lal Bagh Garden in Bengaluru? Hyder Ali. The third person is Tipu Sultan. After the death of his father Hyder Ali, Tipu Sultan continued with the other Anglo-Mysore Wars. The second Anglo-Mysore War ended with the Treaty of Mangaluru. The third Anglo-Mysore War ended with the Treaty of Srirangapatna. In the third Anglo-Mysore War, British besieged the capital of Mysore, that is Srirangapatna. This Treaty of Srirangapatna was a great insult to the whole Mysore dynasty and also to the Tipu Sultan. Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, Tipu died in 1799 CE. Tipu Sultan was called as the Tiger of Mysore because of his brave and bitter opposition to the rise of British. He was called by that name. Then the British handed over the administration to Krishnaraja Vadiyar III. After the death of Tipu Sultan, British hands over the administration to Krishnaraja Vadiyar III. Tipu Sultan built Bengaluru Palace and Summer Palace in Srirangapatna. The Summer Palace was called as Darya Daulat. He popularized sericulture, he molded guns, he mastered the technique of launching rockets. He established royal mints at Srirangapatna and Mysuru. Tipu Sultan did many things to fight against the Britishers. Then we have Krishnaraja Vadiyar III. He was only 5 years old. That is why Diwan Purnaya was appointed, but he was completely dethroned and the administration of commissioners started. In the administration of commissioners, we first have Mark Cubbon. He transferred the capital from Mysuru to Bengaluru. This is important. Kannada language was implemented as the official language, again important. The first railway line in the state was established. This railway line was laid between Bengaluru and Jolarpete. Very, very important. Cubbon Park was built in his memory. Everything that is related to Mark Cubbon is actually important because he has done many important things in the state. The next commissioner was Louis Bentham Boring. The Department of Public Instructions, that is DPI, was established. Then we have Chamaraj Vadiyar 10th. Then we have Chamarajavadiyar 10th. British gave back the administration to Chamarajavadiyar 10th. This was called as Punardana. Divans C. Rangacharlu and K. Sheshadri Iyer ruled under him. In 1881, People's Representative Assembly was started. This is important. Then we have Nalvadi Krishnaraja Vadiyar, the most famous, important, popular, and important king of Mysuru Vadiyars. Read as much as you can about Nalvadi Krishnaraja Vadiyar because many questions appear on him in most competitive exams. He was 11 years old when he was given the administration of Mysuru Vadiyars. That is why his administration was run by his mother Nanjammani. However, he started his direct rule from 1902. First, he formed Miller's Commission. Then he gave 371 acres of land and 5 lakh rupees to J.N. Tata to start a science institution in Bengaluru. In 1907, a legislative assembly was established. He built the KRS dam across river Kaveri. This is very important. To build KRS dam, the royal family had no money. So they sold their gold in the market of Bombay. By selling the gold in the market of Bombay, they raised money to build this KRS dam. Mysuru Palace was built in 1910. A very important artist of Mysuru, that is Raja Ravi Verma, was very famous. Started Mysuru Economic Conference in 1911. Gave voting power to the women for the first time in India. This is very, very important. Who gave voting power to the women for the first time in India? It was Nalvadi Krishnaraja Vadiyar of Mysuru Vadiyar dynasty. Mahatma Gandhiji called the Mysuru state of Nalvadi as the Ramarajya and called him as Rajyashri. This is also important. Then we have Sir M. Visvesvaraya, the sculptor and creator of modern Mysore. Chief engineer of Mysuru from 1909 to 1912. Then he became the Diwan of Mysore in 1912. He was working as the Diwan of Mysore under Nalvadi Krishnaraja Vadiyar. Industrialize or perish is said by Sir M. Visvesvaraya. He established a sandalwood factory at Mysuru. Mysuru Bank was established by him in 1913. This is important. Agricultural school was established by him at Hebbad. University of Mysore was established by Sir M. Visvesvaraya in 1916. This is also important. Kannada Sahitya Parishad was established in 1915. Extremely important. Whoever is preparing for state competitive exams, focus a lot on anything that starts with Kannada or Karnataka because this will be definitely asked in your exams. Kannada Sahitya Parishad in 1915, it was established by Sir M. Visvesvaraya. The date is 1915. Then, railway lines between Mysuru and Arasikere and Boringpete and Kolar were established by Sir M. Visvesvaraya. The British government awarded him Knight Commander Award. This is also important. Sir M. Visvesvaraya was the first Kannadiga to receive Bharat Ratna in 1955. This is extremely important. It has been asked several times in the previous competitive exams. There were 3 people who received Bharat Ratna in 1955. They were Sir M. Visvesvaraya from Karnataka, Bhagwan Das from UP, and Jawaharlal Nehru from UP. And there are 3 people who received Bharat Ratna from Karnataka in different years. In 1955, of course, the first Kannadiga to receive it was Sir M. Visvesvaraya. After him, Bhim Singh Joshi received it in 2009. Then Dr. CNR Rao received it in 2014. So Bhimsen Joshi got it in 2009 and Dr. C.N.R. Rao got it in 2014. Total 3 Kannadigas till date have received Bharat Ratna. The second important Diwan was Sir M. Visvesvaraya. Sir M. Visvesvaraya was the classmate of Nalwadi Krishnaraja Vadiyar. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited HAL was established by him. Iron and Steel Factory at Bhadravati was established by him. An airport was established by him at Jakkur Airport. A Khadi production center was established at Badanavalu near Mysuru. Irvin Canal was established by Sir Mirza Ismail. Sorry. Irvin Canal was established by Sir Mirza Ismail. The city of Mysore was made the city of gardens. This is very important. It can be asked as who converted the city of Mysore into the city of gardens? It was Sir Mirza Ismail. NIMHANS in Bangalore was established by him. The primary education law was implemented. The last ruler of Mysore state was Jaya Chamaraja Vadiyar. Jaya Chamaraja Vadiyar. K.C. Reddy demanded the inclusion of Mysuru in India. Jaya Chamarajendra Vadiyar accepted it. A responsible government came into existence under the leadership of K.C. Reddy on 24th October 1947. Jaya Chamarajendra Vadiyar became the first governor of Mysuru state and K.C. Reddy became the first chief minister of Mysuru state. So who was the first chief minister? K.C. Reddy. And first governor? Jaya Chamarajendra Vadiyar. This is very, very important. So here we have completed the 5th lesson. Study about the 6th lesson. The 6th lesson is the Sultans of Delhi. The Arabs were the first to invade the Indian territories. They invaded Sindh in 712 CE. Muhammad Ghazni invaded India 17 times. Muhammad Ghori invaded India in the last quarter of the 12th century. The battles of Tarain were fought between Muhammad Ghori and Prithviraj Chauhan. The first battle of Tarain was fought in 1191. In this battle, Prithviraj Chauhan defeated Muhammad Ghori. But he did not kill him. So Muhammad Ghori went back, prepared himself for the next war, came back same time and the next year. And the second battle of Tarain was fought in 1192. In this battle, Muhammad Ghori defeated Prithviraj Chauhan and killed him. Both these battles were fought in Tarain. Okay, it's a place. Before going to Afghanistan, Ghori gave Delhi to his general and slave Qutbuddin Aibak. Delhi Sultanate, there were 5 dynasties. The Slave dynasty, the Khilji dynasty, Tughlaq dynasty, Sayyid dynasty and Lodi dynasty. So the first dynasty was the Slave dynasty. Qutbuddin Aibak was the first Sultan of Delhi, originally a slave. Because Qutbuddin Aibak was a slave, the dynasty itself was named as Slave Dynasty. He started constructing Qutub Minar at Mohroli near Delhi, but it was completed by Iltutmish. Razia Sultan was the only female ruler that ruled the Delhi Sultanate and she comes under the Slave Dynasty. Then second, we have Khilji dynasty. Alauddin Khilji was the strongest of all the sultans of Delhi. He banned liquor and gambling. He sent a slave, Malik Kafur, for his south expedition. Malik Kafur invaded the whole of the South India. When he came to the South India, he first invaded the Yadavas of Maharashtra, Devagiri. Then he went to Andhra Pradesh and invaded the Kakatiyas of Andhra Pradesh, Warangal. Then he invaded the Hoysalas of Karnataka, Dwarasamudra, and finally he invaded the Pandyas of Tamil Nadu, Madurai. He went up till Rameshwaram. Persian poets Amir Khusru and Amir Hassan. The third dynasty was the Tughlaq dynasty. Muhammad bin Tughlaq is an important ruler of this dynasty. He transferred the capital from Delhi to Devgiri, Maharashtra. Devgiri was renamed by him as Daulatabad. I had asked you in the previous lessons as to who had renamed the city of Daulatabad and what was its previous name. So it was originally Devgiri. It was renamed as Daulatabad by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He issued copper coins in place of silver coins with the same face value. This led to because of this, the treasury of the Tughlaq dynasty became empty. The last ruler of Lodi dynasty was Ibrahim Lodi. He was defeated by Babur in the first battle of Panipat, which happened in 1526 CE. Nothing much is given about the Sayyid dynasty and Lodi dynasty, so I did not add anything. Let us see about their architecture and literature. Qutub Minar, Alai Darwaza, Quwwatul Islam Mosque, and the Fort of Siri. All these were constructed by the Sultans of Delhi Sultanate. Poet Jaisi wrote Padmavat in Urdu. This is important. Many students make a mistake by marking it as Kannada or Persian, but the Padmavat work was written by poet Jaisi in Urdu language. Please remember this. Here we have completed the sixth lesson as well. The seventh lesson, the Mughal Empire. Three empires were there in India: the Mauryan Empire, Gupta Empire, and Mughal Empire. Babur was the ruler of a small region in Afghanistan called as Kabul. Today it is the capital of Afghanistan. He founded Mughal dynasty in India. The word Mughal comes from the word Mongol, which means Mongol race. Rose was introduced to India by Babur. This was asked several times in the previous competitive exams. Who introduced rose to India? It was Babur. In the Mughal Empire, we have six important kings. Babur's son was Humayun. Humayun's son was Akbar. Akbar's son was Jahangir. Jahangir's son was Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan's son was Aurangzeb. However, whatever was given in the text, only that much is included. So there is very limited information. The second important king is Humayun. He was defeated by an Afghan chief, Sher Shah Suri. Actually, first Humayun was ruling over Delhi, but Sher Shah Suri came from Afghanistan and defeated Humayun in the Battle of Kannauj. Sher Shah Suri defeated Humayun in the Battle of Kannauj and established Sur dynasty. However, this dynasty ruled only for a limited period. So Humayun fled to Persia and he lived there for 15 years. After 15 years, he came back to Delhi, defeated the then Sur dynasty ruler, and again established the Mughal Empire. The third important king is Akbar, who is very important. The Battle of Haldi Ghati, Rajasthan. It was fought between Maharana Pratap the Singh, the Prince of Mewar, and Akbar. He withdrew the personal tax called jizya. Land revenue policy was made by Raja Todarmal. He built a new capital at Fatehpur Sikri. Akbar evolved a new sect called Din-e-Ilahi. This Din-e-Ilahi lived only until Akbar was alive. After Akbar died, even Din-e-Ilahi declined. Faizi, Abul Fazl, Birbal were the poets in the court of Akbar, and Tansin was the singer. The sixth ruler was Aurangzeb, last ruler who ruled for 50 years. Sikh Guru Tej Bahadur was publicly executed by him. His son Guru Gobind Singh organized a Sikh community in a militant sect. The members of this militant sect were called as Singh. Singh means lion. For these members, the 5 Ks were compulsory. What were these 5 Ks? Kesh, which means long hair. Kangan means comb. Kirpan means sword. Kacha means a pair of knickerbockers, that is knee pants. And Karha, which means steel bracelet. These 5 things were compulsory for all the members that belonged to this militant sect. He was opposed by Sikhs and Rajputs in the north and Shivaji in the south. And that is how Aurangzeb declined. Let's learn about their literature. Historians Abul Fazl, Faizi, Nizamuddin, and Badauni were the historians in the Mughal Empire. Akbarnama by Abul Fazl. Darashu Ko, a person, translated Bhagavad Gita. He translated this in the Persian language. Darashu Ko translated Bhagavad Gita into Persian language. Tulsi Das wrote Ramacharita Manasa, which was famous as Tulsi Ramayana in the north. Architecture. Entrance to the Jama Masjid Buland Darwaza is the tallest darwaza in India. This is important. Shah Jahan built Moti Masjid in Agra Fort, Taj Mahal at Agra in the memory of his queen Mumtaz Mahal, and Red Fort in Delhi. Paintings. The painting reached its peak under the patronage of Jahangir. This is important. Akbar had 100 artists. Then we have music. Special patronage was given to music during the rule of Akbar. He had 7 groups of musicians, in which Tansen was most remarkable. He was unbeatable. Aurangzeb banded music. Nadir Shah, a Persian invader, raided Delhi. He carried away world famous Kohinoor diamond and peacock throne from Shah Jahan. Here we have completed the 7th lesson. Let us learn about the 8th lesson, the last lesson, Marathas. Shivaji was the founder of this dynasty. Shivaneri Durga near Pune. This is where he was born. His parents were Shahaji Bhosle and Jijabai. He had tutors Dadaji Kondadeva and Tanaji Malasure. At 19, he captured the Torana Durga, Raigad Fort, Simhagad Fort, Pratapgarh Fort, and many other forts. These acts of his, Aurangzeb of Mughal dynasty and Adil Shahis of Bijapur were very troubled. And that is why the Adil Shahis of Bijapur sent Afzal Khan to kill him. But Shivaji killed him instead with Vyaghara Naka, that is tiger's claw. And Aurangzeb sent Shaista Khan. He stayed in the palace of Pune, that is where Shivaji used to stay. He stayed there for 2 long years, but finally Shivaji attacked him and he ran from that palace but lost his thumb to Shivaji. Later again, Aurangzeb was enraged and he sent Jaisimha. Finally, Jaisimha defeated Shivaji. Shivaji was put in the prison of Agra, but he escaped from the prison and recaptured all the territories that he had once given to the Mughals. About his coronation, Shivaji was conferred with the title Chhatrapati and was crowned as the king of Marathas in Raigad. This is important. Administration. 8 ministers called Ashtapradhanas were there in his court. The prime minister was called as Peshwa. Important Peshwas were Balaji Vishwanath, Bajirao I, and Balaji Bajirao. So we have completed the 8th lesson as well. Here we complete the full history of 7th standard part 1 textbook. Now it's time for quiz. Let's play quiz. For every question, you will be given 5 seconds to give your answer. Okay? So your first question is, which inscription talks about Bukka pacifying the conflict between Jains and Vaishnavas? And the options are A. Talagunda pillar inscription, B. Shravanabelagola inscription of 1368, C. The Halmidi inscription, or D. The Shravanabelagola inscription of 1386. You just have 4 seconds, okay? And the answer was Shravanabelagola inscription of 1368 CE. The second question is, which Deccan Sultan did not participate in the Rakkasa Tangadi war? And the options are A. Adil Shahis of Bijapur, B. Barid Shahis of Bidar, C. Imad Shahis of Berar, or D. Qutub Shahis of Golconda. The answer is Imad Shahis of Berar. Third, which temple is called as Shaiva's Ajanta? And your options are A. Virupaksha temple, B. Lepakshi temple, C. Narasimha temple, or D. is it Krishna temple of Udupi? The answer is Lepakshi temple. Question 4. Who was the last king of Bahamanis? A. Firoz Shah IV, B. Adil Shah, C. Khalimullah Shah, or D. Ibrahim Adil Shah X. And the answer is Khalimullah Shah. Fifth question. Chand Bibi belongs to which Shahi dynasty? Your options are A. Adil Shahis of Bijapur, B. Nizam Shahis of Ahmednagar, C. Imad Shahis of Berar, or D. Barid Shahis of Bidar. The answer is Nizam Shahis of Ahmednagar. The sixth question is, Akka Mahadevi was married to whom? A prince of Mewar, B. Channamallikarjuna, C. King Kaushika, or D. Lord Shiva. The answer is King Kaushika. Akka Mahadevi used to believe that Channamallikarjuna was her husband, but she was not married to him. Akka Mahadevi was forcibly married to King Kaushika. So, the seventh question is, who is called as Karnataka Sangeeta Pitamaha? Your options are A. Kanakadasa, B. Purandaradasa, C. Vyasaraya, or D. Tulasidasa. The answer is B. Purandaradasa. Eighth question. Who established a victory pillar in Hanagal? A. Hiriya Venkatappa Nayaka, B. Rajaveer Madakari Nayaka, C. Raja Nalwadi Venkatappa Nayaka, or D. Shivappa Nayaka. The people who were thinking they know everything, please answer. The people who think that the basics are not important, please answer. The answer is Hiriya Venkatappa Nayaka. Ninth question. The Agureshwara temple in Ikkeri is famous for what? A. Sculpture, B. Painting, C. Granite stone, or D. Sheath. The answer is A. Sculpture. 10th question. Who built the 4 watchtowers? A. Kempegowda III, B. Hiriya Kempegowda, C. Kempegowda II, or is it D. Hiriya Kempegowda II? The answer is Kempegowda II. Hiriya Kempegowda II is the person who founded the city of Bengaluru in 1537 CE. Kempegowda II is the person who built 4 watchtowers by marking the borders of Bengaluru. Kempegowda II had two sons, Kempegowda III and Hiria Kempegowda II. I hope that's clear. The 11th question is, who introduced thrift in his administration? A. Chikkadevaraya Vadiyar, B. Tipu Sultan, C. Nalwadi Krishnaraja Vadiyar, or is it D. Chamaraja Vadiyar 10th? The answer is Chikkadevaraya Vadiyar. 12th question, first railway line in the state. Options: A. Mysuru and Arasikere, B. between Bengaluru and Jolarpet, C. between Boringpete and Kolar, or is it D. Mysuru and Bengaluru? The answer is between Bengaluru and Jolarpet. 13th question, Kannada Sahitya Parishad was established in which year? A. 1915, B. 1916, C. 1917, or is it D. 1918? The answer is A. 1915. 14th question, who was the first Kannadiga to receive Bharat Ratna in 1955? A. Bhagwan Das, B. Sir M. Visvesvaraya, C. Jawaharlal Nehru, or D. Bhim Sen Joshi? The answer is B. Sir M. Visvesvaraya. 15th question, who was the first governor and chief minister of Karnataka? Answer in the same chronology. A. Jayachamaraja Vadiyar and K.C. Reddy, B. Jayachamarajendra Vadiyar and K.C. Reddy, C. S. Nijalingappa and K.C. Reddy, or is it D. K.C. Reddy and S. Nijalingappa? The difficulty level will be more in the competitives. This is just starting. The answer is B. Jayachamarajendra Vadiyar and K.C. Reddy. 16th question, who gave voting power to the women for the first time? A. Nalwadi Krishnaraja Vadiyar, B. Tipu Sultan, C. Sir M. Visvesvaraya, or is it D. Hyder Ali? It is A. Nalwadi Krishnaraja Vadiyar. 17th question, who renamed Devagiri as Daulatabad? A. Malik Kafur, B. Akbar, C. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, or D. Firoz Shah? And the right answer is C. Muhammad bin Tughlaq. 18th question, who introduced rose to India? A. Warren Hastings, B. Babur, C. Muhammad Ghori, or D. William Bette? It is because you have done it in this video, you feel it to be easy. But when this comes in the competitive exams, you all will mark wrong answers. The right answer is B. Babur. 19th question. In the 5 compulsory case for the 6, that is the militant group, Kangan means what? A. Bracelet, B. Steel bracelet, C. Comb, or D. Sword? And the right answer is C. Comb. The last question, who sent Shaista Khan to arrest Shivaji? A. Sultan of Bijapur Vijaypura, B. Akbar, C. Aurangzeb, or is it D. Alauddin Khilji? The right answer is Aurangzeb. Thank you for watching. Please do like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you.